world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Thanks for listening to No Question About That. You can support this show by visiting patreon.com/NQATpod or in your Apple podcast feed. We do a backer show each week going deep dive into a topic related to United. Or if you don't want to part with your cash, an even better way is to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And now on with the show. Welcome to No Question About That. This is the preseason preview pod, sort of. United return to training on Monday. Are you ready for training? Are you fighting weight, Wayne? How's it going?
Sort of. Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks, Ed. I hope you are too. Although, like, just before we came on air, you did this like sharp intake of breath, which was very much like, fuck, another season. That was very much the way that you did that. And I'm like, oh God, I share that. And yeah, it was a long old season and you need a little bit of time off. And it was funny because I was talking about this yesterday, is that time is the great healer. It's the great, that it puts different perception on perspective and everything like that. And you get optimistic in ways that you shouldn't, because football does that. You know what I mean? It's a new page and you go, all right, blah, blah, blah. But then you look at the realism of United's thing, and I've never shaken that off, because what I've been doing over the summer to keep myself busy, apart from fatherhood, which is new, is every morning being sort of like keeping my own pod up to date with like 5 minutes of transfer gossip and club news through the day, just putting out as a little pod just to keep myself updated more than anything. And the one thing that kept coming up was this stumbling block that there are always rumours associated with United, but I think somewhere along the way, probably halfway through the last month, the rumour mill has taken a different spin where they've started pretending that United have got money that they haven't got. So every morning I'm kind of like, the 60 million for Ollie Watkins. I think we have to remember where United are, and I think some people have forgotten where United are because of the fact that he was a month ago, 6 weeks ago, 5 6 weeks ago. And so in short answer to the longer answer I've just given, I'm good. I've still not shaken off the cobwebs because I've not allowed myself to shake off the cobwebs really. And it gives me I'm not as positive as I want it to be going into a new season.
Do you know how I feel about some of this? It feels like, I know someone isn't doing this, but it almost feels like someone's coordinating the news cycle every 2 days for some speculation. Like, it just happens, right? So pick a player, someone will do a report about this player, everyone will talk about it for 2 days, and I'm sat, like, observing all of this, and it's a very online thing, of course, going, well, this one's obviously not going to happen. It's just rubbish news, right? Forget about it. There's something about football transfer news where there's no pressure to get it right at all. I mean, some of them, Ornstein, of course, is like God tier of, I will only report it when I've triple confirmed it with the player and his mother and I've checked his underwear and all of that kind of stuff. But everything else is just driven by speculation. If you took that kind of media model and planted it onto anything else, politics, social news, you'd be like out of a fucking job. Obviously, you couldn't possibly do that. No, imagine you did it in foreign policy news. I mean, it's just, you'd lose all credibility straight away, but it's okay. And it's just driving a cycle of news and conversation and news and conversation. None of it's actual real news. It's not real. Any of it.
the Watkins one was interesting because that originated from The Athletic, basically saying that United were exploring it as an option to the alternative to Villa paying anything for Rashford. So you can understand where the genesis of it was. But then it, like, that rested, like I said, it had its 2 days, and then the Sun took it into a different thing, saying, like, United, well, I think the idea was United were now interested. They had an interest in the player, which then took it to a different thing. But I mean, that is what you mentioned is the same as since time began, really. So United, they've been great fodder for this. First of all, because they always had money to spend. Second of all, because they would make the 2 or 3 signings over the summer, but they'd always make the 2 or 3 more. And you'd never, there'd be sometimes random small ones, do you know what I mean? But there'd be enough there for you to, if you were practicing fraudster in the sports journalism arena, that you could just make up names like that and there would be no accountability. And also, as we know, I think Adam mentioned it on one of the previous pods, is that United are used, and they are used I think for agents and for players and for clubs. They are used. The difference this summer is that it's so obvious. We knew, like, you can tell. I think the striker area is less obvious, but it will become very, very clear very, very quickly. In fact, all the priority will become quickly, because you'd said then, obviously another conversation is the goalkeeper department. That seems to be an emergency, and there's a lot of talk about John Victor and his release clause at being 7 million. United don't even have that until Elanga gets confirmed, and they've got that loose in the purse change. So you actually can tell, if you don't even need to be like a seasoned wizened old crank like we are, like being around the block. You can just look at, like, the fact that United have spent half the money that they've got on Cunha. They quite clearly want Mbumo. That's where the rest of the money's going. That's it. The well is dry after that, unless they get the players out of the door. And once they do that, whoever they target after, you will tell from the Athletic. They'll tell you whether it's Gyökeres or anyone else up front. Do you know what I mean? That'll become very clear. So anyone else who's talking this bull, this is the best summer for a United fan, really. Even though he's still there, even though the nonsense is still there, you don't need to be that clued up to know what's actually going on. And I think that's disappointing for me when you see people who think should know better pretending that they don't. It's like, come on.
It's something to talk about, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
The finance piece of all the transfers in and out is interesting, because if we were not short of cash, I mean, that's almost more of a problem than the PSR issue.
Yeah.
Actually, because, you can think about PSR over a 3-year cycle. It doesn't mean you have to sell a player now and then you can go into the market if you think of it in PSR terms, right? Because it's over this longer cycle. But United only had 75 million in cash on hand last December, as of the last accounts. Now, that changes with season tickets and TV prize money, and all of this is quite lumpy and a little bit hard to predict, but that's almost the bigger blocker. There will be no more investment from Ratcliffe until there's an equity change. There's no incentive for the Glazers to change equity unless the money's coming into their pocket and not United. So we're at a bit of an impasse until there's a real movement in ownership in terms of our ability to accelerate Amorim's project, either by paying down debt or starting a new stadium project or injecting more cash or whatever it is. So, it is definitely holding United back. I mean, Brentford obviously tough negotiators, and one of the interesting things that's kind of playing out, because it's so online and such a media frenzy, it feels like a saga every time, and it feels like other clubs are able to get their deals done quicker. And I actually wonder whether some of that is just a false perception. Everyone's negotiating hard. Unless you pay a massive premium or there's a release clause, you can't get it done quickly. And it's just played out in the media with United, right? And so it feels like it's a big saga. In the past, of course, the good old days when the newspaper article dropped and you just weren't, there was no build up to it at all. It was just, Gary Pallister has arrived. Oh, right. Okay, then.
Yeah.
And it was almost more exciting in a way than this constant foreplay.
But you mentioned Pallister. But Pallister, I remember, Pallister, I know you were just plucking a name out of thin air, but Pallister was a protracted transfer. Ince was.
Here you go. I knew I'd pick one out of thin air and I'd go, well, actually, Ed.
No. What I mean by this is that there were lots of examples of that, but I know what he's saying in terms of United have always been that club where those sagas do play out, but they have obviously they've had plenty of instances where they've been able to operate transfers. When we did Cantona, that was obviously out of the blue, and it was remarked to Ferguson at the time. I remember, so obviously I listened to the interviews for it around this, and I remember him vividly, Tom Tyrrell saying to him, it's almost impossible to do a deal like this these days, isn't it? To do something this secret at United. And he says, yeah, you can't keep anything a secret here, which that was 1993, and we're talking 30 odd years on now. I think the interesting thing, Mbeumo's become a saga. And I don't think that that's United's fault. I think that they went in with a fair price. But from what I understand from the reliable reporting, that Brentford changed the goalposts mid-negotiation.
Seems like it,
yeah. So United offered what they wanted, but then they said, no, actually we want another 5 million, which I think...
And I think it's pretty naughty, yeah. And that's... I think Jamie on the Finance Pod said if United were a little cuter, they'd have done Mbeumo first because they almost set the price. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting listening to Duncan Castles the other day, who, I don't know, I mean, I think there's quite a lot of bullshit in there, but I've had a few DM conversations with him, let's say. But he gave the Brentford line. The Brentford line is, hey, look, Mbeumo's stats are better than Cunha's, therefore we want more money, you set the market price. Yeah. And that's not, I think it's unfair for two reasons. One, there was just a release clause with Cunha. Who knows whether the negotiation wouldn't have gone if that wasn't in play. And the second one is actually on per 90. That's not really true. Per 90 non-penalty goals, their data is almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so I think 62.5 is a fair price. And this is what United are standing firm on. Also, we have asked, have we not? I say we as the community of football fans. We've criticised United for being not very cute in the market and not holding the line. And how much do you want for Harry Maguire? 80 million. All right. We'll offer you 12 quid and a packet of crisps. All right. And incrementally increasing bids over the whole fucking summer until they paid 80 quid. And then they paid it all up front in cash. Right. So not very cute. And so if they're going to say, hey, we're resetting this and we're going to be tougher negotiators, even to the point of at some point they might have to walk away. I'm not saying they will. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. But in order to sort of reset the United tax and say, hey, we're just paying market rate here, maybe that's a good thing. Who knows? But fans are frustrated for sure. Those are the incomings. There's no other real hard news on incomings, which leaves Ruben Amorim in an interesting position because there's more potential outgoings. Reported yesterday that Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho and Rashford, who've all, well, this was clearly the club line, all requested to leave. I'm like, yeah, that's not how this went down. But okay, they're not going to be part of first team training when it starts again on Monday. There's an open-ended have a rest, lads. Apparently not even going to be training with the under-21s or something. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's a hard line from Ruben, and that's fine. He's taking responsibility. It's going to be on him after those first 8 games if it goes terribly wrong, and it really could. Yeah. So he's effectively got a weaker squad than the start of last summer, right? Because there's 4 players who aren't there that would have been part of the squad, even if they contributed very little. So that is the other frustration that people are looking at. How do we get these deals done? And all really complicated for different reasons. I mean, Anthony, believe it or not, is the simplest one to sell. Yeah. But the club who want him isn't stuffed full of cash. It would be their biggest deal ever. And so, they're all kind of complicated. How are you feeling about outgoings?
Yeah, it's interesting. Rewind the clock back to when Amorim came in. I think the conversation we had was the funny thing with change is that people go like, oh, the problems are obvious and we can project what we need to do. But I remember was having a conversation at the time saying, look, buckle up, because first of all, he's got a new system. Second of all, change the way that you perceive it isn't always the way that it's perceived by someone else. And it's very likely that there'll be a casualty of a player that you like will be involved in this, and you have to be prepared for that player, whoever it is. They might be part of the outgoings, and turned that to be the case in terms of Garnacho, even though, like, people are divided on him now in terms of his attitude. But he was popular at the time. There was no reason to be saying that he'll be part of the, I remember when that rumour first came about in January, and it was very real that he was set to leave. And I was surprised by the speed of the breakdown, because that, I understood the Rashford one almost. But even then with Rashford, it was kind of like, the idea when you bring in a manager is whatever wasn't working, he's going to try and get working. And there was very much like very quick line draw in the sand with some of these players. So, and these ones in particular, Sancho is a funny one, because if I'm just going to go through them quickly, it's obviously we've been trying to see if we can give him away all summer, and no one is biting. And the reason why they're not buying is because his demands are just too ludicrous. It feels like he's got United over a barrel in terms of the expiration of his contracts and everything like that. But I think that there's been some leeway. I feel like there was a fair bit of truth in the Fenerbahce link, where they sort of went down to 15 million, and they said, well, we'll accept 15 million if you accept the sort of like where that other 10 million that is going to make up the shortfall in the wages that you get. Now, the strongest link now seems to be Juventus, that he has given, this seems like the fairest inclination that we've got, that he's committed to going somewhere, is that he likes the idea that Juventus are interested in him. Now, Juventus, obviously, then it's whether or not they can put together the package for him.
Well, they won't pay him what he's earning at United, but he's only got 1 year contract, so a 4-year contract somewhere else is more valuable than a 1 year contract at United, right? And his advisors should be saying that, but he would have got bigger wages in Turkey because they have this tax rebate system that's for elite sports people. It's carve out that the government have put into the tax legislation. It's 20% or effectively 15% with a rebate. Yeah. So they can pay very substantial wages. If you look at the historic transfers into Turkey, I think like 16 million euros is the biggest transfer, or something like that. It's sub 20 million. So they don't pay big transfer fees, but they can pay big wages because there's tax carve out effectively. So who knows? Sancho will get done because, like, I'm sure, like, as much of a shit of a human being that we've turned out thinking he might be, he does also want to play football, right? And I don't know exactly what happened at Chelsea. He wasn't brilliant there, but he did score in the Conference League final. Maresca was very complimentary of him in public, but they didn't take it up because they've got 15 bloody forwards. 15 of them, right? But it will get done somewhere because he'll want to play, and it's a World Cup year. If he has ambitions of still being part of the England squad, which has not been true for some time, but it's a fresh slate, then he needs to be playing regularly somewhere.
He's not going to be in the England squad. That's gone for him. I think he's fallen off too much of a cliff for that. The Chelsea one, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I would have said exactly the same for them last year. There was no reason for him to have got him in. It was raising eyebrows then. So I think it's damning on him personally. I don't know if I share your confidence that he definitely wants to play football. I feel maybe there's a level of acceptance there that he's not going to get to that level. You look at the names, apart from Juventus, there's nothing really to turn you on. Like, where you go from United down to Fenerbahce, that's an insult, and you don't want to be carrying that insult. And that's when you question motivations. The other thing, like Rashford, for example, he went to Villa. That was the quickest deal that could get done. He could still play his football and everything like that. So it's a short-term hit to his confidence, but he's been holding out for Barcelona. He's fairly lucky that route is feasibly open for him.
It is now. Nico Williams has signed a new contract at Athletic Club.
But they've still got to front up the money for it, because United, with those players in particular, are not going to want to entertain another loan move unless there's a guarantee. And they know back out like they did with Chelsea. The Anthony one, I mean, straightforward, like you said. Betis, I do remember, it's funny you mentioned that they don't got money and they don't historically buy big. Again, this is one for the old heads of the pod. They did break the world transfer record, didn't they?
They did for Nelson, a long time ago.
18 million. And I know he was a great player for a moment in time. But yeah, probably nothing higher since then. But they just sold someone for 25 million to.
They sold Johnny Cardoso and then another player as well. So yeah, it does give them room, but that is their business model these days. They are the second club in Seville. So
yeah,
and they are effectively a mid-ranked Spanish team. It's interesting with Anthony because he doesn't have that much money, so that makes it more flexible around Europe. He seems to have set his heart on Betis. I mean, it's all speculation. I don't know anything really, but it appears to be that actually maybe in football terms, he's more flexible than some of the others and willing to go to a club where he had a great time, even if it is a massive step down in sort of status. They are a great club, though. I mean, really good fans and all of that. So football culture in Sevilla is great, fantastic city. It's a great place to live if that is what he cares about and all of that. He can get some good sunshine if that's what he's after. If El Carrington isn't sunny enough for him in the winter.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning, Crust. It's a great day to be a bread brother.
Ugh, mornings are not my jam. Or jelly.
Oh, come on. Stop loafing around.
I just woke up feeling hollow inside.
Psst, just grab one of the new Morning Uncrustables sandwiches, like Bright Eyed Berry or Up an Apple, filled with 12 grams of protein and tons of deliciousness. Crust, what are you eating?
It's just granola, not even yogurt.
No crust, no fuss. Uncrust your mornings.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Yeah, that one should get done, but it's just the proposals around, like the one that was floated earlier in the summer around, I mean, it was reported as shared ownership. It's not that. It was just heavily incentivized that United would take a very large percentage of a sell-on, which I don't know. United have to hit a PSR figure, otherwise it actually reduces our budget. So 32.5 million is it. Less than that over a 3-year cycle is a problem, I would say.
Just to interrupt and not interrupt really to accelerate to the next point, because the bigger picture is, obviously, I think we all accept to suppose that those 4 players should be moving on. First of all, I've got a bad feeling that at least one of them will still be here at the end of the window. I don't know why. I just think that
they'll find loans for... If Sancho and Rashford are the most difficult ones, they'll find loans. Anthony will get sold. Garnacho's a big one because they should get a big fee. If you look at the numbers that Jamie Gittins has gone for to Chelsea, 55 guaranteed.
Yeah.
And Garnacho's numbers are better, right?
Yeah.
Whatever people think about his snarky social media posts, he has performed better than that in a better league, in a struggling squad. So United should be holding on for a bigger fee than that.
So those players aside, even Garnacho aside, exactly, I'm with you there. Whether or not they can get that fee is a different thing. But again, that speaks to the idea that it might still be at the end of the window. The bigger picture is that that's a lot of our creativity. Most of it is, or say what you want about it, but that's a large part of our senior attacking force gone.
Yeah.
We didn't create an awful lot at the end of last season. We were reliant very much on Ahmad and Bruno. And now the idea is clean slate, heading to pre-season, starting on Monday. And now this is the proof in the pudding, is that now we've got to start seeing everything that Berardi has talked about, apart from reading my book. Obviously, that's great.
Oh, yeah. What a compliment, Wayne. I mean...
No, but I'm being facetious there. But the point of being investing time and this being worth the pain is that now we're going to start to see the positive benefits of having a manager there for a long period of time without going anywhere, because now we're going to say, all right, well, now everyone knows what he wants and it's going to start to fall into place. That has to happen very quickly within that attacking output. I know that we've got Cunha in, a great signing, unbelievable signing, by the way. I loved him when he's played against us. And I think United have made a big mistake. We should be trying to recover for probably 11 years. The Van Gaal's summer, when he came in, we lost, I estimated at the time, it was around 1,000 league games of Premier League experience.
Right.
It was a big number of Premier League experience, probably more than that. It might be 2,000 games, because it was Giggs retired, Ferdinand, he was probably 2,000, Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra. And we brought in only Shaw, who was 18 at the time, who had Premier League experience. I think that's impacted United massively. It's not something we talk about a lot on the pod because we talk about so much else. But I think that's had a massive impact on that 11 years.
It's a fair assessment, because look at how long it took, just for example, how long it took Josh Xerxes to kind of feel at home, right?
Yeah.
Second half of the season before he got injured, his performances really ticked up. And I think it's not like the Premier League's wildly different football, but it is a different football style. Yeah. And it can take players a little while to bed in. Cunha, you'd expect. He's ready-baked. You just slot him into the team. Now, there is an argument, it's the theoretical one before everyone gets at me, that his ceiling is not as high as, say, Marcus Rashford's. I don't think he'll ever score 30 goals in a season, Cunha, for example, but Rashford has done that once and hasn't done it for 2 years. So we're not replacing theory here. We're slotting a player in that should get us 15 and 15 across competitions next season. Brian Mbeumo, when he's done, should do the same. Right now, we've gone over the XG over performance and all of that kind of stuff. Whatever it is, the numbers they get, it'll be good and it'll add to United's creativity and attacking potency, which has been desperately lacking, hasn't it? It's a shame for Ruben that they start training on Monday and it's really only one addition and this problem with the outgoings, which he's saying clean slate, whatever, right? I can understand from the managerial position. He's saying, that is it. I've made my decision about my squad. Anything from here is incremental changes of players coming in. You four are going. And now it'll be up to the management team, Matt Hargreaves and Barada and Jason Wilcox, to sort those deals out and give Ruben what he wants. I mean, there is a scenario which I think is kind of worrying. When you think about, what did they do? They brought him in mid-season. He said there would be a storm. He didn't want to come. They said, please, you have to come now. This is the only option. Barada has sold it in a very, very lengthy and detailed interview with Andy Mitten as that we've got that 6 months of learning now. And yet, specialist systems, specialist players, and there's only one change. Well, Dorgu make that two, right? And that's that. We haven't given him enough. And that's because of the constraints and how long it takes to do stuff and the complexities of the market and the amount of competition there is out there and all of that, and the selling the project, I'm sure, with some players, as much as, lads, it's fucking Manchester United, who's a sales project. It's still not in the Champions League development project, 10-year history of constantly downgrading the team and all of that kind of stuff. So there's some complexities, but Ruben doesn't have the squad he might want, right?
Yeah.
And we're now expecting, just because we've turned over the leaf in this new season, that performances will suddenly uptick, right? And that might be an expectation too far.
Yeah. Well, going back to the players who are exiled, so if you want to really be doomsday and pessimistic, I hate to do this on the preseason part because I'm generally not like this, but I mean, we've all looked at that first 10 games and like there's a few people going a bit snarky saying, oh, it might be gone by October, November. But if you're a player on the exile list like a Garnacho or Rashford, particularly those two players, and you've not got anywhere by the start of the season starts badly, you might be thinking, I might just wait this out. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it will be catastrophic. I'm not forecasting that, but I'm saying that you might have that kind of problem with a couple of those players.
Well, that would be pretty catastrophic if our business model is beholden to selling Garnacho and he's not got sold, right? Or we have to take a much lower fee because we've exiled him and we've created a fire sale, even if that's mental. So, yeah. One player we haven't talked about is Diego Leon. No surprise here. It was funny. Breaking news, Diego Leon has signed. I mean, this was done 6 months ago, right? But anyway, I did enjoy that from Fabrizio, who does, of course. And he did take a 4-hour break in tweeting after Diogo Jota. Very sad and tragic news when it was announced. I was looking at that because I was looking for two things. I was looking for people making bad taste jokes. And I was really hoping no one I like did something like that, and they were respectful, or anyone making any kind of club rivalry bollocks, like this man and his family devastated here. And then I was looking at Fabrizio. I was like, how long will he wait to tweet? Because tweeting is money. He's got to do it. He did wait 4 hours. So, it's at the appropriate time. He did do it.
Respectful for him, but I still think he made a fair coin from engagement form in death, which there was a fair few tweets in there. He might have waited his time to do that, but it's still not good.
Not as bad as one of the United accounts who put a betting logo on their Diogo Jota.
I didn't see that. Oh, the one thing I did see...
He blamed it on his handler. I'm not going to name the handle. You can go find it yourself if anyone's interested. But I didn't even understand what that meant. And then he posted. He was like, my handler did it. Does he mean he's got someone who's doing social media for him? I don't know.
That, yeah.
His handler in the WhatsApp messages he screenshotted had a picture of Hitler as his avatar. I was like, just delete your account, mate. Go away.
I wouldn't
have a good, long, hard think about your life and your choices you've made.
Yeah,
they're all wrong.
This is all news to me, by the way. The one thing that I did pop up a few times, I have a little bit of sympathy for this because I think that a lot of people, when something like this happens, they want to express themselves in the right way, and they don't the world isn't full of perfectly articulate people.
Mm-hmm.
I write for a living, and I still make jumbles of word soup of sentences plenty of times. There's critics of this podcast have told me, a long time to get to a point when I like to take a few nooks and crannies down before I get to the eventual point I'm trying to make. Much like this. But the point I make with this is that a lot of people say, beside, club rivalry aside. And I get that. I wouldn't tweet that, but I get what they were trying to say. But everyone... Even if you don't think that that's appropriate, because I don't think, you don't need to say it.
Don't need to say it.
But you don't need to be critical of someone for they try, their heart's in the right place. They're not trying to be, they're actually trying to express themselves in that kind of way. I just feel like sometimes you have vultures waiting for stuff like that in something like this.
Unfortunately, there is a lot of that, yeah. Yeah, people flying drones around the funeral today to get pictures.
Don't.
What is wrong with you people? Honestly.
You've already covered this on the pod, but I know we're talking about it now, and this is so tragic. It's so tragic. There are players, I think we've talked about Liverpool players in the past who, players that scare you when you play against them, and he was one because he was so good on the ball. He had a really good change of movement and everything like that. So from the perspective of a United fan, he was terrified of playing against him in a Liverpool shirt, and he probably scored a couple of goals against us as well. I mean, I'm not going to go through Liverpool's wins over us to check how many goals he scored against us, but he definitely had his joy against us. 28 years old, being part of a really good spell for the club, the Renaissance, loved. The one thing that United and Liverpool share, a lot of things that United and Liverpool share, and we hate each other for them in real ways, that we have this reverence of the players and a protection of them. We love them so much, and they did with him. And he turned out to be probably a squad player for them, right? I don't know if I've looked at his numbers, but probably middling, he was starting quite often, but not every single game. But
played a lot of time through the middle at number 9 as well.
But he was still loved in that kind of way that they do, that they worship a hero, and you've seen that.
Yeah.
The outpouring of that. And I just think the perspective of everything away from football, when you look at the fact that he had a young family and he just got married and that he was with his brother, I can't, everything about it breaks my heart. especially, you know, like everyone knows who's listening and watching this. I've just, like I said, become a father as well. So you think about these things a lot more. I just think it's so sad, and there's nothing when you look at it. You think like you pay your respect. You say this is really sad. It's tragic. What is there more to say than how tragic it is? And when I can't abide this. We see people like that vulturistic, opportunistic. This is an opportunity for me to say something that scores points, much in the way that the Thomas Partey thing. You know what I mean? It's news that you don't like, and people can use it. I mean, I tweeted about that as well, and I feel like uncomfortable doing that because you open yourself to the cesspit of Twitter. I mean, much the same way that you do when you tweet about when someone dies. And I just think at this moment in time, a great player has been lost, and lost by a club that properly loves its players, and it's just unbelievably tragic. And anyone who's watching this was like, a general rivalry, and they go like, you know, you'll engage, because we all do it, like engage in different podcasts that transcend our own club sometimes. It's just so sad. Yeah, that's where I am with that.
On Leon, I thoroughly enjoyed his dad saying his parting words to his son. His wise advice was, "Don't fuck this up, son," which I thought was brilliant. Leon, by the way, and who knows whether the translation's right, I didn't actually listen to the original Spanish, said, "I'll play a couple of games in preseason and I'll be part of the squad." Now, that could be taken a few ways. I suspect he's going to go into the under-21s and they'll just test for level and all of that kind of stuff, but maybe we'll get some preseason game time.
Yeah. I like his confidence. I think in a certain way, I'm not saying that confidence can be arrogance. So I think Garnacho straddled the line on that. He was very, very confident from an early day. Was it his first preseason under Ten Hag? He turned up late or something, didn't he? So he was out for a while. So there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, but I think you have to have a healthy amount of both to play for United and to succeed for United. I think I like it. I do like that about him. And in the modern era in particular, you know, like you said, people forget that David Beckham broke into the team at 21 years old. He was 21 when he became an established first team player. I think he was 21 in 1996. So that was his breakthrough season. And so like he was 19 when he was almost 20 when he was sent on loan to Preston. Modern age, footballers are younger. They break into the game younger and they have a little bit more buzz around them when they're younger. I'm not saying it's terminal if they don't break in, but you do have that potential to break through. I don't know enough about him to know if he's going to break in and he'll be a penetrative player. That seems to be the easiest way for a player to break in. You know, like Kobe, when he first broke through, he was he finds it a little bit more difficult now, but he could break the lines very easily. He was so cute at gliding with the ball, and I think that's a very... You either have that or you don't, and it's a very blasé thing to say, but it's true for young players. You can see it straight away, like when they step into that environment of a first team, whether or not they've got that capability to do. Doesn't mean that they won't develop qualities that make them a good first team player. I just mean that it makes you able to make an impact from an early age, and the earlier you do it, potentially the higher your ceiling, right? Because we've seen that with certain players. So we don't know about him, and there's a lot to be excited from the clips that we have seen of him.
It's the final chapter of the college football playoff.
It comes down to this.
Miami's unmatched grit and tenacity through the postseason has led them home. The national title now within reach.
They are confident. They are battle-tested.
Undefeated Indiana, led by Chris Signetti and Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza, have the chance to take home their first title and claim college football immortality.
The most remarkable turnaround in the history of college football.
The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Año nuevo, los mismos Extra Value Meals en McDonald's. Ahora te puedes llevar 2 snack wraps y papitas y una bebida mediana por solo $8. Solo por tiempo limitado. Precios y participación pueden variar. Los precios pueden ser más altos en Hawaii, Alaska y California y con entrega.
I like the confidence, and I'd rather have it than not have it. I'd rather have it than be the other way, like say, no, I'm not sure about it. I like the cockiness. Might well turn around to bite us at some point down the road. In a year's time, we could be going, well, his dad did warn us. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But no, I like it. And you know what? If the opportunity is there in this squad, we've just been talking about all the players that we're going to be losing. I know it's a different kind of position, but there are opportunities in this squad, particularly in those wide areas. We need players to make an impact.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I mean, I've only seen all the same comps that everyone else has seen on YouTube, so I don't know about you. I haven't been watching much of the Paraguayan Premier League. Yeah. So, sorry for not being hipster enough on that one. Do like to think I'm knowledgeable of world football, but so no idea. But that's kind of exciting, isn't it? It's funny, we've gone from no left-backs at all to having 4 of them. Dorgu, Leon, Harry Amas, Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, I think, who was talking about, did a pod the other day and totally forgot he existed. But he will certainly be an option in the back 3, I think. I don't think they're going to play him much at left wing back. Well, we'll see. Harry Amas, who I think we haven't seen the best of him yet, but I really feel like his ceiling's very high. Of course, super young player, who knows exactly how it develop. And Leon, I imagine, will start with the under-21s. But well stocked, full of a lot of players there. Tyrell Malacia, who we didn't mention earlier, is part of the bomb squad as well. Yeah. PSV haven't taken up the option. It was dead cheap as well. It was only 10 million euros. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there with his loan away. He's been so unlucky. What a lot of injuries he's had. But they'll have to find a solution there for him to. Much for him, he's got to restart his career. It's not going to be at United. All right, pre-season fixtures. There's 5 of them, which is a bit lighter than some Ten Hag years. There was one where there was 9, which always seemed like too much. So they've got Leeds in Rosenborg on the 19th of July, and then it's Everton, Bournemouth, and West Ham, sort of on the East Coast. Chicago at Soldier Field. That'll be a fantastic experience. I think there's a game, maybe the last one is in Atlanta at the Allianz. I think it's Atlanta. And then the other one is at the MetLife, where the World Cup final will be played. Be interesting how big the crowds are, because I reckon United will sell all of these out. Although didn't in Las Vegas last year, but that's Vegas.
Yeah.
Sell them out, and it would be an interesting contrast with the Club World Cup that's going on at the moment, where there's been some really pathetic attendances. Some good ones when Real Madrid are involved or Messi is playing.
Yeah.
And a lot of very paltry attendances. But there you go. What do you think of are you excited about the pre-season programme, the Premier League Summer Series that we're part of?
What is not to be excited about? I mean, that's a list of games that makes you want to go and attend them. I mean...
Well, they're all at our level, right?
Oh, good grief.
Starting already. Yeah.
Well, they probably all beat us last season. Did Everton beat us? Everton might be the one team that didn't beat us, that all the others certainly did. Yeah.
Well, Leeds are always a gimme, aren't they? Is it 5 or 6 goals we'll score against them? Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, that's the kind of soundbite that Leeds fans will be trolling for. Yeah, if they get the Jermaine Beckford moment, even in a friendly, they love it. Look, it's not inspiring. I do think United will probably sell them out. It's a funny thing, like to have games like this. I mean, I know it's all pointing towards that 39th game and everything, like in long term. You remember in the COVID preseason, we played a couple of friendlies, didn't we? Against I was in Villa and Brentford. We played against the preseason friend, and it's just not fun. Like you have, by the way, for the local fans going, I don't think it's fun because you want to see something different. All right, they might want to see like a Premier League. They want to pretend it's like a Premier League kind of game, but in addition to those fans who are there, I'm not discounting fans around the world for like wherever they turn, whatever time they wake up in the morning, everything like that. The dedication is real, so it's nothing to do with that. what I'm thinking is there's still the madheads who travel from United to they'll travel from Manchester to go over for the tour. Do you know what I mean? And I just think like you go all that way, you know, all right, it's not great fun to see him play New York Red Bulls or anything like that, but it's still something a little bit different, and he's part of the domestic.
Then just another Premier League team,
He's part of the domestic experience of where you're going, so you're learning like something about. You might bump into fans of, you'll be bumping into fans of those teams, and you establish connections that way, and that's part of football. But you're going all that way to play Bournemouth. Do you know? It's like, oh,
I know it's uninspiring. It's because it's part of this Premier League summer series that United haven't been part of for quite some time. I'd rather they played the local club just for the interest. I mean, of course, it's a modern thing. It's going to be okay, boomer Ed, but back in my day when they had a couple of friendlies against a Welsh 11 and just trawled around the Nordics and stuff like that. So I mean, I make a lot of money out of these summer tours. It's going to add between 20 and 30 million. They claimed that certainly during one of the COVID seasons that the cancelled tour had cost them an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's uninspiring, but some good cities. If people are travelling over from Manchester as well, they'll enjoy New York and Chicago. Atlanta I've been to quite a lot this time of year. They call it Hotlanta. It's absolutely sweltering.
Yeah.
So,
what was it about Atlanta that I find? I think it's the airport. Is it the airport's either mad busy or mad big? I can't remember.
It's mad big because it's a big hub for Delta. So you make a lot of connections there. Yeah, Hartsfield.
Yeah,
airport,
it was. I think it was surprisingly big. That's what it was when I was there.
It is. Fun fact: it is the airport with the most gun seizures of any in the United States. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go. Joy. Deary me. Yes, not super inspired by this, but I didn't mention Fiorentina, so Fiorentina's the last one back at Old Trafford. I wonder whether Dave will be there to get his goodbye wave that he didn't. Otherwise, I did actually wonder whether they're using Dave's fax machine to sort the Mbumo transfer out. That long. Yeah.
No, that's a good one. Look, the question, is David De Gea a United legend?
Oh, you know what? If you just forget the fact that he got the yips for the last 2 years of his career, I would say
no,
yes.
don't forget. You got to. It's all in.
Those last 2 years were not good, were they? But it feels like that I should just. That's why I want to say I want to forget it, because it's a shame for him that he wasn't part of a great side. I think that's the thing that kind of holds him back from legend status. I remember I used to have this debate with Paul. Who was the best, Schmeichel, De Gea, or Van der Sar, right? And we were ranking. We did this a few times to rank them. And I think I'd put Schmeichel still top. Because, win the Champions League, you do a cartwheel, and that's legend status, isn't it? It's not just how good you were as a player. Dave might just fall short of that now, given those last 2 years of horrendous mistakes. But before that, 8 years of just absolute brilliance. The game changed around him, of course. Much more emphasis on playing with your feet. He was never particularly good with his feet. That's why he was dropped for Onana, who's not been an upgrade.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I didn't say yes or no there, Wayne. So what's your thought?
And I will say, I'll avoid the question as well. But what I will say is that if you think about United history, you just put that perspective there. Harry Gregg won the best goalkeeper of the 1958 World Cup. So Yashin was renowned as the best at the time. But you could say that award meant that Gregg was the best goalkeeper in the world at the time. Schmeichel, probably, I don't know how long you would say in the 90s, maybe 4 years he was the best goalkeeper in the world. I think it's fair, 4 or 5.
Unbelievable presence, that guy. I mean, he's the worst pundit in the history of punditry, but as a goalkeeper, massive brick shit house of a...
Yeah.
Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But the personality as well. And he won everything.
Yeah. I would go as far... I was trying to be sort of not hero worshipping him, because I love Schmeichel. I actually think he's the best goalkeeper of all time, because he changed the game. And there's still no one... mostly because of the physical dimensions that he had. There's no one who could match him now. Neuer's very close. He had a very similar style to him, but I don't think he had the same kind of presence. And Neuer's, I'm not detracting Neuer. I think he's magnificent. I just think Schmeichel was elite. But the point I'm making is that apart from those two, Greg and Schmeichel, there's probably only De Gea who has a rightful claim to say that for a period of time he was the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't know how long that period was, maybe 2-3 years, but he was there. And he was, I've seen, whether or not he's a legend, he's made saves in a United shirt that I don't think any other goalkeeper was capable of.
For sure, 100%, yeah.
And I love him.
Incredible athleticism, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're the historian. You need to come up with a framework for legend status. Like, what is it? Number of appearances, quality of appearances, trophies you've won. Can you be a legend if you don't win any trophies, but you were brilliant?
Look, this is obviously divergent, but it's funny you mention that because I've been trying to think of, like, how do you determine the greatest? Because you've got so many greats. And it is a conversation you come back to. And I do think there's some kind of formula in, like, legendary status where you equate how much, I'll go into this at much greater length on a different podcast, but how you equate appearances, trophies won, and contribution to those trophies, and global status at the same time. So maybe 4 things that maybe tenure being another one, you know, kind of knows 5 years, and they say, is that long enough? Is Edwards, did he play long enough? So I think it's 5 elements there that you equate, and if you gave, like, points for each one, you know, like, this is like if you've played over 500 games, then you get 10 points or something like that. There's some kind of good equation in there. But like the same,
here's a question for you, Wayne: is Juan Mata MBE a legend?
He's a legend of a man.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's got to be one of the, you know. Talk about players, and I'm not. This can sound like it's detrimental to him. It's not. There are great men who've played for United. Juan Mata being one of them. I'm thinking Lou McCorry, Harry Gregg, men for different reasons, not just as a player. Yeah. So I'm not saying not as a player as well. I'm just saying not just as a player.
Well, he's not a legend as a player for United. I mean, because he was unlucky in that he joined under Moyes. Moyes just played him as a winger. Yeah. In a traditional sense, you know, get to the byline, cross the ball. That wasn't him. He was a brilliant number 10. Funny thing is, in the modern game, in Amorim's system, he'd have been absolutely perfect, wouldn't he? And we'll always have Wanfield. So anyway, he's done great stuff. Common goal. The disappointing thing is he just didn't get enough footballers to sign up for it. You know, 1% of your income, mate. You're earning 300 grand a week. I was going to say a year there. You'd be an impoverished footballer, wouldn't you, if you were earning 300 grand a year? But yeah, 300 grand a week and you can't contribute 1%. Shame on you, people.
But not Juan Mata.
Not Juan Mata. What a legend.
Fantastic for coming up with it. Yeah, and the accolades richly deserved. He's an honorary MBE. Just what a great guy. No one has got a bad word to say about him. And like I said, I don't even think you could say unlucky for his timing. A genius of a footballer. That's a definite quality that he deserves to be described as. And yeah, like McCarry, like Greg, you don't even have to think about the football really, because you just think, my God, we are lucky that it's a hot topic. Is it quality of man to be associated with the football club? Well, we can be grateful that Juan Mata was associated with us.
All right. Great way to end it. I think pre-season was maybe we'll get more excited when the games come along. Maybe. Unlikely, honestly. We have got just over 5 weeks until the opening game of the season against Arsenal to do all those deals, get the players fit and ready, and get ourselves in a mental position to suffer another year of United. Oh, dearie me. All right, thank you, everyone. If you want to get our extra show, we're on patreon.com/NQATpod or on Apple Podcast subscriptions. I also get this show ad-free if all these adverts are annoying you, which they do. I just forward through them, but, don't do that because I need to have my retention rates high for the ads. So play them and then maybe play them again and maybe once more. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Wayne. Catch you next time.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on Carvana. Delivery fees may apply.